Yay, we are at the last part. Okay. So, welcome to Cafecito one more time. And this is the last part of this interview that we've had with a great time with Jackie Rodriguez of Tilson PR. And you will get the information at the end of this video of how to contact Jackie and the firm so that you can hire her. I did learn some interesting news before coming into this last part that you were promoted in your job. So congrats on that to senior VP, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
That is very great honors. I mean, 22 years, you should own the firm. Say it again, because that is a very lengthy career and anything. Being someone that's in my 20 plus years of being in my business, that speaks volumes as to how good you are at what you do. Because you normally don't last that long if you're not good at what you do. So, congrats. All right. So, in this segment, we're going to reiterate a little bit about what we've talked about. Segment one, segment two. So, segment one, we talked about how important it is to be in customer service. And that's mainly why I switched from cafecito to Tink because there would be no cafecito without Tink. So, Tinkerbell Enterprises is my nonprofit. And obviously, I do a ton of things, as you can see from my banner behind. But keeping relevant is another thing that we talked about. And in order for me to keep relevant in my job, and I'm sure that you promote this to your clients as well, is you have to then implement other things, new things, update things and continue to always be relevant to the people. So you can't, that's why you spoke about you do restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants that delete things from menus because they no longer work for the industry. And a lot of people get upset because those are like their favorite staples, but they don't understand the marketing behind it. Like they cannot introduce new things that would actually bring them current or bring new traffic in if they don't actually take some things away or make them seasonal, because that's important too, to like, oh, if we're going to drive traffic this certain amount of time of the year because all these people that love this item are going to come back for this item. And my favorite from Taco Bell, I'm just gonna say that, is the caramel empanada. Oh my God, they only bring that back once a year, and it's like for only like 2 weeks, and it runs out in 2 days. And it's, oh, no, you're killing me. And this happened this year. They had not brought the caramel empanada back for like 4 years. Don't ask me why, but they brought it back. And dumb me thinking, oh, it's 2 weeks, okay, I can get like one every day. I should have like stocked up on the first day. Like, because by day two, every restaurant was out. So that speaks to how much people love that item. Now, why you would not carry that all year round or at least for a longer a period of time, that's on PR. I don't know. You tell me why an item.
That's more of an operational standpoint.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you only carry this for 2 weeks? If it sells out in 2 days, obviously people love them. So anyway, I don't understand that, but I do understand being seasonal and bringing in people that, want it for a certain time to drive traffic. So speaking on that, can you tell me what is the highest peak season for PR? Is there certain times of the year where, just like in that food industry I just spoke about, where they want to like drive traffic so they change things up, or that you're overwhelmed with the amount of people that you get during that time of year?
So PR is year round. Like we don't, there's no like peak season of like when we're busier than other times. I mean, it really also just depends on the brand, but I mean, there's always something going on. It depends on, how we're strategizing the story, how we're going to be pitching it out. And sometimes there are seasonal stories that we pitch out. Maybe, with the new year coming up, it's a lot about wellness, eating healthy. So looking at all of our different clients and brands to see, how we can kind of spin that story, because that's what you're going to see a lot of in the news and people talking about, new year, new financial goals, new, trying to lose weight, get back in the gym. So we try to spin stories depending on what the news cycle looks like what's being covered in the news.
Okay, that makes sense. But there's no lulls, because I'll tell you, like in my industry, when everybody's celebrating the holidays, October through December, I'm like revving up, getting all my certs done, being in school, and then trying to get everything ready for tax season because as of the first week, I have to be gung ho 70, 80 hours a week until the end of tax season. But then after tax season, there's a lull until I start doing all my summer stuff for my nonprofit. So is there ever a lull where there's a shorter period of time? No.
Not really, no.
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 Well, that is a
Yeah.
great industry to be in. Then people, everybody needs to know that they need to like have some sort of PR in their pocket. That is awesome. I do have lows, and and in business, I don't know. Obviously, the people that you do are maybe different, and they don't have lows. But when you have a low and you're trying to get financing, which is one of the things that I do for clients, it's imperative that there's still that cycle in there because when banks look at you or anybody looks at you, obviously now the structure is going to change a little bit because Trump is doing all kinds of things with our credit agencies and credit reporting systems, but we're not there yet. So as of to now, as of now, they were still looking at, oh, but you have like 3 months out of the year that you're not making anything. I'm like, yeah, but I made enough in the first 6 months that covered me the whole year. What are you talking about? Like there's plenty of money in there, but they don't see it like that. So that's sort of important. Um, Now, speaking of new trends, and we just talked on that, the AI platforms and everything that's out there for promotions. I mean, is that a threat to PR firms such as yourself, or is that a no-brainer? Like, no, they can't do what we do.
No, I mean, it's not a threat. I mean, if anything, it's really a resource now, you know. I mean, yes, there's ChatGPT. A lot of people are using AI to, write a lot of things, come up with different ideas. But PR really thrives in that like human connection, like picking up the phone, sending an email, that face to face. So yes, while AI is very much like we have to be in the know and we have to know how to use it, we can use it to our advantage.
So it helped the PR field. Where as I can tell you, so many people think that now they can be their own accountants, and I'm just gonna throw myself in there. It's like, oh no, I can just ask Chat GPT how to do all of these things, and I don't need you to do my taxes anymore and things like that. And I saw that all the way since this year, let alone 2026. I had clients dropping like, oh no, I'm gonna do my own, and I'm like, okay. And when you make a mistake and there's nobody to back you up because you don't even know you made that mistake. So how are you going to correct that mistake? Do you think AI is going to represent you in any way, shape, or form with the IRS or a court system? So a lot of people don't realize like, oh yeah, there's a great resource, but it should still be that, a resource, and not the genuine person behind it that can actually drive you in the right way, gear you towards the right thing, and be able to answer questions. That's not a robot. Because you can feed a lot of things into a machine doesn't mean that that machine is going to be able to help you in the end. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we only use it as a resource. It's definitely not an end all. And we still have to fact check ourselves. I mean, it could write an article for us, but there could still be some discrepancies throughout it. So definitely not, I wouldn't use it as just like this is it.
I actually saw that on the news from an attorney that actually used it to write up like this whole dissertation that he was going to speak on in court, and then he never even proofread it. And when he was speaking on it in front of the judge, he got his whole case got thrown out of court because he like perjured himself. It's like, what? And you're an attorney? Oh my God.
Yeah, scary.
Exactly. So, in your field, we spoke about in segment two that you are part of a team and that certain people work with you together on a client. So, has there ever been, and I'm sure there has, but because jealousy is just there. Has there ever been a team member that's just been jealous of the fact that like you're much better than they are, so they are no longer want to be either part of the team or be your friend or whatever, and they, because people do sometimes act a little childish. So, for lack of a better word, has that ever happened where they're just like, no, I don't want to be part of the team and just exit it, and then you've had to either scramble to get somebody else or just done it without them?
I don't know about jealousy. I mean, they've never flat out said, "Hey, this is why it's not working out." Obviously, as we get new team members that come onto the team, I'm at a very different level. I've been doing this a really long time. I'm very organized. I have a little bit of like, OCD where I like things done a certain way. I like to just kind of like my time management is like, okay, checklist. Everything's getting checked off today. I don't want to leave things to the next day. So everyone just is very different. So I definitely, we work as a team. If someone's struggling, I'm right there struggling with them, trying to figure things out, trying to guide them. I certainly don't want to do all of their work, but just trying to guide them and teach them so that they can be, the best version of themselves, in the field.
But you still didn't answer. Have they left it? Have they
Oh,
left?
I don't know. I can't say that they've never
Like
give
you
that's
don't
never
know.
been like a
Okay.
reason of why someone's left.
No, what I'm saying, like, but you don't, but has anyone ever exited a team that you've been on working on a project and said, this isn't for me, I just don't want to be part of this team?
Not
No.
specifically. No, not specifically. I mean, yeah, we've had people that have left for various reasons, maybe, maybe, and again, I'm talking very hypothetical here, but maybe they left because, we work at a very fast pace and they're not used to working at that kind of pace. We work with multiple clients at a time, so maybe, it's just too much for them. So, I mean, PR is not for everyone. So it's definitely something that, if it's something that you want to get into, especially if you're young, like I recommend like interning, trying to get your feet a little wet, trying to just understand it, from the beginning to end and seeing if it's really something that you want to do.
Yeah, it's understandable that you need to have some amount of OCD, ADD, and everything else to be able to juggle a ton of things. People ask me that all the time, like, how do you do so many things? And I'm like, well, one is that during tax season, I usually don't do anything but taxes. I try not to, and then I'll push everything else for after tax season. But two is that I do have that OCD, ADD all the time that it's like, yeah, I can do 10,000 things at one time and still come back to it and know exactly where I was in that pattern without losing track. And that's just been all my life. But yeah, I think it does take a special person to do certain things, and that's just reality. Um, but have you then also, on the other spectrum, developed such great relationships from being on a team that they are your friends and they're still your lifelong friends from being there?
I mean, so my agency, we work remote, so it's really hard to have that like, that like kind of like where we're gonna go hang out after work hours and, grab a bite or whatever. So, but I feel like we've definitely all built really great relationships with each other. I mean, we do an annual, holiday get together where everyone no matter where they're from, all get together. So we do get some FaceTime. And I think just it's so nice to be able to like kind of like talk outside of like that work environment and still have a good relationship. We all get along really, really well. It's always part of like, when you're calling somebody to talk about work stuff, it's always like, let me take a second, like you're a real person, like how's it going today? How's your family? If I know they have kids, how are your kids? How's your dog? It's kind of just, personalizing it just a little more than just always just about work. And again, that's just all about that relationship building too. You want to have a good relationship with the people that you work with every single day.
I agree. A team building is very important, and that's why I handle now a pharmacy where I do all of their HR, and I've done HR many times and accounting and everything in other fields, but they had no structure, and I've been trying to put that into the structure. So that's the one thing that I did was like, we have to have a Christmas dinner. We have to let people know how appreciated they are for all the work they've done for this whole year. It is so important to let people know, hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate your efforts. Without you, there is no company. So, hello, it's not just the owner. There's the owner actually, he relies on the people in the actual location because he's not there every second of the day to know all the nuances. So it's super
Mhm.
important. And I was glad that we were able to do that. So I agree. And I know working remotely, has that only happened now because of COVID, or have you always been remote?
No, since COVID, we all started working remotely and it's actually been really great. Really, actually, we all work super efficient. And it's been working out great. I mean, me as a mom of three, it definitely works with my lifestyle, being able to have the flexibility to, work from home, but still being able to juggle all of the mom things.
Right. No, and I agree with that. Super important because people always and I know that you've known me for many, many years and I've always worked from home. And so when I started working in this wasn't even a thing. It wasn't a thing like, oh, you work from home. No, I've been working from home since 2004, people. Let's put that out there. Since 2004, when it was not a thing, it was not a COVID, and everybody's like, well, why do you work from home? I'm like, A, I have no overhead. B, I get to, like, if I have to stop and do something, I can do it. I can have dinner going while I'm still working. There's so many reasons why working from a location where you're doing multiple things just works. And it just appeases my OCD ADD.
Yeah. And I mean, like, now we've got, Microsoft Teams, we've got Zoom, there's all these technologies that we can use to still have that face-to-face interaction. Because I know like my team, we always get on a morning Teams call every single morning. We do video on a Monday to kind of kick off the week, and then every day it's an audio call where we're just sharing kind of like what we've got going on from the day, like who needs help, what are the priorities, things like that to kind of keep things moving.
That is true. So, wrapping this up, I do want to ask you one last question, and then we can share everything about your company. But now that you are a senior VP, how does that change from when you first started to where you are now?
So when I first started, I was more of a tactician, I guess you could say. Like I was more of like, okay, like let's get this press release and you pitch it out and you build media lists and you do all of the like behind the scenes stuff. I still do a lot of the tactical things as a senior VP, but I also do work on a lot of strategy where I'm kind of looking at like big pictures. So, putting together, editorial calendars of different story ideas, like really thinking about how we can pitch different angles, different stories, when they should be pitched, some of the writing, things like that. But I try to focus more on like the big picture. I still do a lot of tactical because I actually love doing some of the tactical stuff. I love like reaching out to journalists and coming up with different story ideas. But just at my level, just for, been with the company for 22 years, and just what I know now, I can really kind of help the team kind of grow in that way.
That's great. And that's absolutely imperative to have someone that, and I'm sure that they love you there because for you to be there that long, you know every single nuance of everything that needs to happen and what works and what doesn't. So you're imperative to the team, and that's amazing.
Well, PR is evolving, and I mean, I remember when I first started, we were still faxing documents to people. There was no influencers. I remember when blogs were just starting and we didn't have, Instagram and Facebook and all these things. So we've had to evolve over the years. And just like now with AI, now kind of learning, well, how is that going to help us now? Like we need to know all of the different things that are coming at us and how we can jump in and use those tools because we don't want to be left behind. We want to make sure that we're in the know of everything that's trending and happening now.
That's absolutely imperative too. I mean, like I said, and we talked about this in the first two segments, you have to stay relative. You have to know exactly what's going on and what's working so that you can be on that same wavelength. Otherwise, you get left behind. And that's just basically it. So when everyone asks, why did you add something else to your company? It's like, hello, I needed to. That's just the way things happen. So, can you share where Tilson PR is?
Yes. So I love how you keep referring to it as your agency.
Well, I just feel
It's
like you
not
should
my
be the
agency.
president. I swear.
It's
Sorry.
not my agency,
Where
but
is Tilson?
yeah, so I've had the privilege again of working for Tilson PR for 22 years. I have an amazing boss who obviously has had a lot of faith in me and she's been a really great mentor over the years. I mentioned that we do work remote. Mostly we started the company in South Florida, so out of Delray Beach. But we do have like a satellite office up in the Northeast outside of Boston. Our team members are located kind of all over. We have some in New York, we have some in South Florida, we have North Florida. So we're kind of all over the place. But you can also reach us, online. on our website, www.tilsonpr.com. Social media, we're all on all the social networks. And then, of course, you can also visit our webpage for more information.
Great. And we are going to share that business card at the end so everyone can actually just grab that information and make sure that they didn't miss it now. But one last question before we leave for this segment. Do you only do Florida, or can your client be anywhere in the US?
Oh no, we're a full service PR agency. So we do national. So we have a lot of most of all of our accounts are national. We do regional, we do local. We really customize, all of our plans for clients depending on what their needs are. So we may have some clients that do want that national coverage, but then we have some where, for example, maybe we're working on a grand opening, a new store opening in Miami. Well, we're just going to focus on Miami because it's not going to make sense on the national level.
That's absolutely wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jackie, for being on all of these segments and answering all of these questions and sharing your story and more about public relations, which I was interested in knowing exactly what it was. And I'm sure a lot of people out there are going to be like, oh, I didn't know that. So I'm so glad that you came on the show. And I applaud you again, once again, for your latest promotion. And I hope you stay with Tilson for the rest of your life. I'm sure that you are an asset to that company. And once again, thank you for attending another episode and the final conclusion of Cafecito on Jackie and the PR firm. Bye.
Thank you for having
Bye.
me.
Thank you.